Starting any new endeavor can be scary. Our goal with a beginner's guide to falling asleep is to help alleviate troubled sleepers' fears by providing the tools of rest, relaxation, and boredom they need to be successful in their sleep journey. A quote by Dr. Jane A. Dreamer from the Sleep Institution of Fictitious Land. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sleep and Relax ASMR. And more importantly, welcome to the beginner's guide to falling asleep. Over the many years that we've been helping troubled sleepers, one of the most common questions we've received has been, how do I get started in true deep sleep? People from all over the world have flocked to the Sleep Institution of Fictitious Land to find the solution to that very important question. While some other sleep institutions and experts may lead you to believe that there is a simple answer that works for everyone, that is unfortunately not the case. We've built this guide to help simplify the process of figuring out how you can start sleeping deeply through the use of rambling, boredom, and low stimuli. Of course, this guide is not an all-encompassing how-to manual. It will not cover every aspect of sleep. However, it instead will provide a general overview of the best ways to start down your path to deep, restful slumber. What to expect in this beginner's guide. This guide contains several chapters, each focusing on a specific part of your sleep journey. If you can master these, you can increase your chance of achieving deep, restful sleep. This guide will walk you through the following. 1. Your sleep education. Before you start attempting to engage in deep sleep, it is imperative that you get educated in the important concepts. There are dozens of ways to learn and build your knowledge base as it pertains to rest, and the subsequent chapter will focus on this in great depth. Choosing your sleep strategy and niche. There are a number of different strategies from which to approach the important subject matter of deep sleep and relaxation. The more you focus on one specific thing, the better and more knowledgeable you become at it. This will be the focus of the subsequent chapter after the subsequent chapter, perhaps known as Chapter 3, as we dive deeper into the various niches and strategies you can profit from on our sleep journey. Create your sleep plan. As the ancient proverb goes, a house built on sand is subject to collapse. By creating a strong foundation for your sleep endeavors to stand upon, you will create a sustainable model that can ultimately weather the storms you may face. The subsequent chapter after the subsequent chapter after the subsequent chapter, which may or may not be Chapter 4, will show you the best ways to build that foundation to maximize the odds of your sleep success. Selecting your sleep strategy. When it comes time to decide on your path for sleep, it is vitally important that you choose the right one for you. The subsequent chapter after the subsequent chapter after that subsequent chapter after the subsequent chapter, which may or may not be Chapter 5, we'll dive into the specifics of how to set proper criteria to guide your sleep decision making. Executing your sleep strategies. How you plan to execute your sleep strategy is just as important as the strategy you select. It is vitally important to clearly understand your sleep strategy from the beginning. Are you ready to begin? As you work your way through this sleep guide, remember that this is not all-encompassing. It is a 40,000-foot view of how deep sleep may be achieved, and it is designed to give you the basic tools to get past the all-important question: how do I get started? As you listen along, make note of any questions or highlight pertinent information, and then visit sleepinstitutionoffictitiousland.com to search the site or ask questions on our forums to learn more about anything that's still on your mind. For those unfamiliar with our site, Sleep Institution of Fictitious Land is a fictitious online community of deep sleepers with the largest collection of advice for new and experienced sleepers. It is free to join and to begin participating, learning, and sleeping. If you're new to the site, start with our rest and relaxation forum. The forums contain more than 3.2 million fake posts that don't exist, because this is a sleep podcast, but you're probably falling asleep right now, so it doesn't matter much. But in either case, they tackle just about every aspect of rest and relaxation, updated thousands, perhaps millions, I'll just say billions of times a day. Chapter 1. How to engage in deep sleep. An introduction. 100% of all deep sleepers become so through a focused execution and mindset change. A quote by Dr. John Naptime. Are you new to the study of deep sleep? Learning how to achieve true deep sleep doesn't need to be complicated, difficult, or expensive. In this beginner's guide, you will learn how to get started on your slumber journey from beginning to end with no hype, false promises, or pitches. This chapter includes the following sections. Why care about deep sleep? Can I achieve deep sleep if I have a full-time job? Do I need to pay some guru in order to be successful? Why care about deep sleep? There are positive and negative aspects to each sleep option, but since we're here to learn about rest and relaxation, we'll focus on that and that alone. One of the most commonly stated reasons people give for investing in their sleep journey is that they're seeking out freedom, but there are others as well. Of course, each person will have his or her own personal reasons. They are typically seeking one or several of the following: health, mood, focus, emotional well-being. Can I achieve deep sleep if I have a full-time job? The simple answer is yes. The kind of deep sleep techniques you see on television or may hear about from a guru is not the only kind of method for deep sleep. In many situations, the kind of methods you see on TV is not even achieving deep sleep at all, but rather gambling or speculating. The truth is, there are hundreds of ways to gain rest. Some of these techniques or strategies may require 40 hours a week, while others may only require 40 hours a year. The amount of time it takes to improve your sleeping ability largely depends on your rest strategy, your personality, your skills, your knowledge, and your time. Advantages of applying deep sleep techniques when you have a full-time job. By keeping your day busy and zapping your energy, you have a main advantage over others. The main benefit, of course, is if you commit yourself to your daily activities through your day job, you should, theoretically, be so tired that your mind and body will be willing to accept your chosen sleep strategy to engage in deep, restful slumber. Consider the day of the secretary, for example. A secretary, he or she spends the entire day having to take orders and do small, useless tasks for their bosses. They also have to deal with complaining mothers and fathers asking about why their child, for example, received a bad grade in school, while the secretary has absolutely no control over said distribution of grades. Consider the life of the carpenter, having to do whatever carpenters do all day, presumably related to woodwork or something of that nature, only to build a grotto to the specifications of a client, and then come home to an angry email saying that it's not quite right. Or perhaps you can consider the day of an average office worker, having to answer emails at 8:30 in the morning, listen to meetings about performance, not really pay attention, perhaps be so sleepy during work that you want to fall asleep, but having to stay up for the dignity of your career and your professionalism. If you apply these scenarios to your lifestyle, ask yourself, are you tired when you get home? The answer should theoretically be yes in any case. Do I need to pay some guru in order to be successful? The answer is absolutely not. Countless deep sleepers have become successful without the help of a guru. The goal of many of these individuals is to sell you on the dream of quick sleep, fancy products, easy slumber, so on and so on. Many prey on people who desperately want to rest and relax, and may use very slick and often dangerous for you techniques to sell on their very expensive courses, boot camps, mentoring, training, etc. In fact, the tactics used to get you hooked are very well documented, and there's absolutely no such thing as a free lunch. Keep in mind that there are many in the sleep industry who benefit from marketing these gurus. Remember that sleep gurus are in the business of marketing and selling you on the dream. Deep sleep strategies, niches, and ideas. The following list includes the most common sleep methods for your consideration. Carefully consider what you believe may work best for you. The distracted sleeper. The distracted sleeper is one that focuses on quieting his or her mind in order to get the mind and body to fall asleep. This is very common with younger generations, as they tend to be full of stimuli throughout their day and look to add more stimuli to help them relax. In particular, my neighbor's son, who seems to be watching movies a little bit too loud at night, so loud in fact that the neighbor, known as myself, the guy recording the sleep podcast, can't fall asleep. If you happen to listen to this, and I will not name you by name, please stop. Up next we have the quiet sleeper. The quiet sleeper is exactly what it sounds like. It's those of you that prefer to turn off the lights and enjoy the sound of silence to help you sleep. On a personal note, I find that sleeping in complete silence and darkness can either be very refreshing and relaxing or absolutely terrifying, depending on whether or not I've seen a horror movie or a scary meme or video on YouTube. Up next we have the product sleeper. The product sleeper relies on products and stimuli to help them sleep. This can include the use of sleep time tea, earplugs, and a good ASMR podcast to fall asleep. Determine your sleep type. When determining your sleep type, you should ask yourself a few key questions. what do I usually do before falling asleep? If the answer is just roam around YouTube, fall into that rabbit hole while listening to a podcast, while simultaneously watching a TV show, while somehow having another screen around you so that you can watch a vlog on YouTube, even though you're watching a vlog on your primary screen, then you should probably reconsider this sleep strategy. Question 2. What seems to work the best? Carefully consider some of the best nights of sleep in your life. What did you do beforehand? What were the things that you consumed or did to help aid your deep slumber that night? And finally, question 3. Do I think my method for falling asleep helps me achieve deep and restful sleep? If you consider your sleep methods effective and overall you feel like you are sleeping very deeply, then congratulations. If not, perhaps you should really evaluate the 2 questions posed before and try to figure out what can I do better and be intentional about to help achieve deeper rest. Understanding the answers to these questions establishes a foundation for you to build upon. And with that, we will end this section for the beginner's guide for deep sleep. We can consider this as an intro or preview into the rest of the guide. If you'd like me to continue, then you can, of course, email me at hello@sleepandrelaxasmr.com, or if you have any general questions, complaints, or concerns. That's all for this episode. Thanks as always for listening, and take care.